Okay. Good morning, world. How are we this morning? Monday morning. How was your weekend? What did we do? We had my daughter's 10th birthday party, like with her school friends at a place. Sorry, that's wobbly. Yeah, with lunch and bowling and cake and arcade games. So yeah, that was fun. And then some shopping after that. And then yesterday I spent pretty much most of the day on the couch doing some knitting because I am a knitter. Yeah, so my partner did do some, work outside, gardening and things like that. So a few things got done. Anyway, so I hope you all had a good weekend. And this morning, what are we talking about? I read a story online over the weekend. I forget how I came across that. And anyway, it was talking about the Amish community, right? And I don't know why, but the Amish community has really always intrigued me. I guess I have some concerns about how society is heading, just over the years, over my life, just watching things. And, when I look at the Amish community, sometimes I really agree with a lot of the stuff that they do. I don't know how controversial that might be for anyone watching, but hear me out. So, one of the things that they were talking about in the story was about how they don't make toys and dolls for their children with faces because they're trying to teach the children that it doesn't matter what you look like, you are still valued and loved and important. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really nice. Because really in society, in our societies, it seems to be even from a very young age, kids are made to look at themselves in the mirror and things like that. I always had a thing I told my girls, that if you spend too much time looking in the mirror, you can get sick in your head. And I never went into hardcore detail about how, but just thought it was very important to emphasize to my daughters, especially because they're girls maybe, just not to spend too much time worrying about what you look like in the mirror. I actually went years of my life not looking in a mirror intentionally. I just didn't have mirrors around, but also I just was doing that for myself, doing that, especially we've got social media and stuff, we us adults, we've got social media and stuff, and it's a very competitive atmosphere that we're all working here in, isn't it? And everyone you know, every photo that they upload, you know, even if it's just their kid's birthday or something like that, they've got filters on them and everything, and it's like, you know, nothing you're really looking at online is real. But you know, it can make you, maybe it makes you feel, you know, not so great about yourself to just be seeing, you know, as a woman or as a girl, to, you know, be seeing all the other girls are walking around with filters on, you know, on their photos and videos and things. And, you know, and in real life actually getting, you know, injections of filler and Botox and whatever. And some girls are also just very, very skilled makeup artists as well, on top of all that. So, you know, anyway, I'm just saying that, like, it's not really good for a girl's or a woman's, you know, self-esteem, I guess, if you're comparing yourself to everything you see around you all the time, everything you're kind of bombarded with, like even social, you know, your social media and things like that. And I don't really go on Facebook and stuff apart from to, you know, share things with my family members, you know, because they live hours away, and then I've got family over in Europe and stuff. And anyway, so like, yeah, with little girls, you know, it's like, you know, even some of the kids shows that they watch on YouTube, you know, those girls that have the kids shows, I mean, they're getting like all dolled up too, aren't they, by their parents, with their hair all done fancy and curls and whatnot, and you know, maybe different colours through, or and their fancy clothes and dresses and things, and well, you know, a lot of those sort of shows are like, oh look, you know, we just bought this princess castle, like, that you can actually go and climb off, or this or that. Like, it's all like, it's kind of like rich kid stuff, you know. And like the whole premise of these videos is like, oh, you know, we bought this and we bought this, and they're like living in a mansion, and they've got just all this like really unrealistic life, unrealistic, you know, kids things that not everyone could afford, or things like that, you know what I mean? And so a young child watching that might like start comparing themselves, might they? You know, whether it's their home, how their home looks, or the things that this kid has that they don't have, or their clothes and their hair and how they look and things, and then they try to mimic it, don't they? You know? And they want you to buy them the same things and stuff like that. It's like, oh no, sweetie, that's like a $2,000 cutting house. You know, anyway, so getting back to the Amish, you know, I just think, hang on, I'm just gonna sip. Just think that they do have a lot of good ways of life. You know, part of the article also spoke about, you know, they grow all their own food and stuff, and it's all organic, so they have less disease and like extremely low cancer rates and stuff like that. You know, I mean, we should all know that that's the case, right? And yet here we are going to, you know, like in Australia here, we've got Woolworths and Coles are our two big major supermarkets. And, you know, for Woolworths, it's like, oh, the fresh food people, you know, that's like their, that's like their, you know, saying on their ads and stuff. And it's like, yeah, fresh food people, like, you like have pesticide covered fruit and vegetables, you know, that are a concern for us to eat, really. And then the like organic section, is like 3 times the, sorry, my phone is really not enjoying this road. The organic section is like 3 times the price for the same product, like, you know, obviously organic though. And what else? Sorry. Yeah, and you know, half the time too, like you can buy strawberries or something like that, like not the organic ones, the other ones. And you know, they're already like going bad down the bottom of the thing, of the like tub, the container that they come in. And you can also tell that some of the you know, products there that's supposed to be fresh have clearly been like pre-frozen, and then they've just been like thawed out by the supermarket. Like maybe it's because of you know, shipping and, you know, getting it to stores and stuff. But I mean, yeah, I just feel like it's like we're clearly not eating the freshest stuff. We're not eating you know, stuff that's good for our body, and no wonder we have so much disease, no wonder we have compromised immune systems, like everyone, you know, and so much cancer and things like that in our communities, because look what we're like having to put in our bodies all the time, you know. And it's like, oh, you don't have to, you can like grow all your own food, but it's also like, yeah, okay, do you know also how like that takes a lot of work. You know, the Amish people have it down pat because they've got like a whole community doing it together. You know, for like my partner and I to grow the amount of things that we do, food plants, you know, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time. You know, growing stuff from seed takes a lot of time, and then even with seeds, you can't just get any old seeds. You know, like a lot of seeds have been treated and stuff. You know, to get like good, proper, organic, heirloom and things like that, you have to get stuff from like particular places. And yeah, you just got to really be onto the seasons and your time scheduling and you know, consecutive seeding and consecutive planting and things like that. And you've got to be onto like every day, basically, like checking your stuff that you know, insects and bugs and things aren't getting to it. Dear Lord, this thing is having a hard time today. Yeah, you know, like we've got cats too, you gotta worry about them. You gotta worry about your snails and your slugs, just like coming in one night and just absolutely demolishing everything you've been working for, you know, could be weeks or months or whatever, you know. Yeah, it's hard growing organic food. Anyway, what else? And they do things like, you know, they're very conscious of people not feeling better than other people. You know, there's no thing of makeup, there's no thing obviously of technology and portraying yourself to be anything other than what you truly are. You know, their handmade clothes are all very modest. You know, obviously there's no one walking around in their communities with their puppies out, you know what I mean? And yeah, I just think that in our society, there has been a lot of, I would say, like damage done. Do you know what I mean? Like think about even in relationships and stuff, marriages, how much damage has been done over the years of, you know, the way that women dress, you know, making, dear Lord, making making their partners feel insecure, you know, that their partner, that their wife, you know, is trying to get the attention of other men. You know, even with what they post on social media and stuff like that, very alluring, isn't it? Very, it is kind of like you're just trying to catch attention. You know, we live in a day and age where it's like basically nothing is kept private anymore. You know, girls are walking around at the beach now. Like, this is actually something I've had a problem with for years when I take my kids to the beach. Is, you know, you kind of can't go to the beach these days with your children. Without there being like almost naked women walking around sunbaking. You know, like women in like G-string bikinis, and even the bikini top is like barely covering a nipple only. You know, I mean, really, do we need that level of skin showing? Do we really have to have, like, you know, just that much of your body on display, which clearly it's all for display? It's, you know, I know girls will say, oh, it's, you know, so I can get more coverage tan, you know, I don't want to have tan lines on the wrong spots. Well, it's like, well, you know, go tan like that in your backyard or something, you know, on your balcony. Like, do you really have to be like that naked, basically, at the beach when my daughters are coming to play? And then my daughters have to see that, and my daughters have to be influenced by that, you know, and I've got to do damage control and, you know, be like, oh, don't look at that, you know, like it's a bit much, isn't it? You know, I mean, why can't we just wear a normal freaking bathing suit? You know, and then you've got, you know, it's been like a trend for quite some time now too. You know, with girls walking around and like just a gym bra, still with the, you know, puppies spilling out the top. And then like these, like, I think they're like trying to call them as if they're like gym pants or something, but they're like material that's scrunched, like it's designed to be like scrunched around the buttocks, so that it like really cinches in around your buttocks and you know, makes it very prominent and, you know, like up there. It's really up there, the material, so there's no confusion about where your brown eye is. Anyway, so, you know, I mean, yeah, you can't walk through the shopping mall without, you know, just like girls walking around like that everywhere as well. And again, I just feel like it's about influence on young girls, and, you know, even like at the mall as well. Another issue I have is lingerie shops, right? Like, why is it that when I go up the escalator at the mall, why is it that that person was really impatient? I'm so annoyed by impatient drivers who cannot even just wait for you to turn in your driveway. Like, buddy, what you doing? Anyway, yeah, so yeah, at the mall, we can't even go like up the escalator without, like, right there in front is the lingerie shop, And, you know, the posters that they have up in their windows, you know, to advertise their style range, what they have in or something, is like really, I just feel like inappropriate, you know, like, is it okay if like your next door neighbor, like the lady who lives next door, would you feel cool about her walking around in, you know, racy red lingerie in front of your children, just out the front? You know, maybe she's just watering her garden like that. Like, or would you think that was like highly inappropriate? You know, it's sexualized, isn't it? You know, and it's, you know, lingerie is designed in a particular way to invoke particular reactions from men, isn't it? You know, so like why would that be cool for like our children to be bombarded by photography like that, you know, like modeling posters like that, you know, as soon as you walk into the mall with your kids? Like, it's just, I just feel like it's really inappropriate. Like, why? Like, everyone knows what a lingerie store is. If you're going to go to a lingerie store, you're going to a lingerie store, and it's for a reason. And so you can walk into your lingerie store and then have a look at their range and things there, can't you? Like, why do we have to have it bombarded as soon as you know, just walking around a mall or entering the mall? Like, it's just, I just feel like it's inappropriate advertisement. And, you know, our children are just like from all angles in life, you know, bombarded with sexualized content, like even music videos and stuff like that. Like, you really have to be careful if you let your kids watch any music videos anymore, or like videos of music artists like performing on stage and stuff like that. Sabrina Carpenter, oh my lord, my lord. You know, and even Taylor Swift, and even, you know, just all of them really. I mean, you know, and I know people will defend them so much and say, oh well, that's just how they dress for on stage and they're doing a performance, and you know, whatever. Oh, they didn't, you know, become a singer to be a role model for your child, for your daughter. But it's like, of course that like responsibility comes with being a famous person, that children around the world are expected to download your music, aren't they? And listen to your songs and follow you and make you as popular and whatnot as you are. Like, it's not all 40-year-old women that are, you know, your fans. Like, of course they're trying to be relevant for a younger generation, aren't they? For a younger group. You know, it's the younger kids that do the downloading and do the, you know, whatever. And anyway, it's like, you know, yeah, I come back to the Amish people sometimes, and just reading that thing on the weekend, I was just like, man, you know, they really have thought out a lot of, you know, things with being more aligned to, you know, God's wishes for behavior, and how you hold yourself and how you know, do your business, and, you know, just how you raise your children, you know, the way that you represent yourself, the way that you treat others, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I really worry about, you know, our society, and, you know, and they're obviously, like, I'm talking about again, like, you know, I use this term in one of my other videos, like, in white man world, it's white man world, you know, that is really like this, because you go to, you know, India, or, you know, other countries in the world that have, you know, their women do dress modestly and beautifully in beautiful materials and stuff like that. And, you know, I've been to like a convention even before where it was like all with female Muslims, and you got to sort of like sit down and have conversations with them about their culture and their dress and everything like that. And even with like their face and head garments and stuff like that, I was like talking with them about those things as well. And I've always sort of been like a campaigner for women, even if it's just like mouthing my opinions, throughout my life to people. And like the perception that people in white man world have is that like the Muslim women are like forced to cover themselves up, and they're forced to wear these garments on their face or head or whatever, and yet these women could not have like defended that more. Like they could not have disagreed with that more, and they spoke about how it was their personal choice and their personal like a sign of respect to God, showing their respect to God and things like that. And I've seen even videos online of like with Christian women who want to sort of be a bit more by the book of in the Bible it says about a woman having her head covered, and so like a Christian woman deciding to wear a like sort of like a shawl just over the head, just draped, or you could have it pinned, and I'm not saying that like, oh, we should all be getting around with like 90% of our body covered up like in face and things like that. I'm not trying to push that. I'm just saying that like, modesty has like really died in the world, like in our culture, in Western culture. And it's just, I feel like it's shocking. I feel like it's a sad thing. I feel like it's very like a blatant, obvious. Every day I see how detached we are from our connection to God, because I do see it as a respect or a disrespect towards God. I don't believe that God intended for women to be getting around with everything out there, falling out of your top, falling out of your underwear on display, and it also comes back to worshipping false idols. Well, what do you think a celebrity is? Like a celebrity is a false idol. And you're worshipping them. Like a lot of people are worshipping them. People get like crazy, they're crying and going mental because they find out Taylor Swift is getting engaged and married. Like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, you might need a counselor if that's seriously what you're emotionally attached to and stuff in life. Like, you don't know these people in real life, do you? Like, they're not your friends, they're not your family. You are nothing to them other than a dollar sign. And more people need to wrap their head around that. Like, the celebrities use people. They use people to be rich and live a life of luxury and look down their nose at all the peasants, and laugh to themselves about how, they can put their name on any product and make $1 million more, like that's the reality, really. That's the reality. And people are out there just worshipping those false idols and dressing like whores, really. And because your false idol is promoting that look, like, whatever happened to like developing your own character, like being your own person, having your own moral compass, and setting a good example for children, setting a good example for your own children, setting a good example for your nieces and nephews, and just the little ones around. Like, we should be raising yes, independent, strong women and men, but that doesn't, like, being a strong, independent woman has been hijacked by celebrities and whores, to be honest. Now to be a strong, independent woman, you have to be walking around in a freaking unbuttoned shirt and a black G-string in high heel boots and being like, what? I'm a strong, independent woman. What? Like, okay, really? Like, whatever happened to like being a strong, independent woman who doesn't conform to you know, stereotypes or, sexualized expectations or, filling your face with rubber and plastic or whatever, poisons, that you stand your ground and, I all the time, I don't wear makeup. Like, I do wear makeup sometimes, but like I like mostly don't wear makeup. I like I mostly like wear clothes that are um you know a bit looser fitted, and like, I don't have things out and about, on display and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's something that should be reserved for my partner, you know. I feel like it is disrespectful, to my partner for me to be walking around displaying things or posting that on any kind of social media. And I also, absolutely don't want to be a, bad, toxic example to my daughters. I want them to grow up with modesty, and and not be thinking that they have to put themselves on display for validation, from men or from society, that oh yeah, you're dressed, you know basically skanky enough for, oh, you've got, lots of likes now because your boobs are out, like, it's just, it's so gross, it's so sick. I don't know how we went from, women's rights to work and have an opinion about things to, now it's like women's rights to, like, oh, men can walk around with a shirt off, so women should be able to walk around with a shirt off. Like, really? You think that's the same? Like, there's something a bit not okay with you if you think that that's the same thing, in my opinion. Anyway, so maybe I have gone down that rabbit hole a little bit too much. I don't know, but I am a mother of many daughters, and maybe that's why it's like a more prominent like topic or issue for me. Maybe if you're a boy mum, it's not really come up. Maybe if you don't have children, it's not really come up. You probably don't think about it as much. Maybe you are more on the side of things that you think that, like, you should be able to just dress however you want, and no one should be able to say anything about it. And I understand that maybe, people might think that when they watch this video, but at the same time, like, is anyone out there having the same view as me right now? Like, I am not part of the Amish community, not Muslim, or anything like that, and yet I think I'm thinking like a sane, rational person, a sane, rational woman. um, I just, yeah, look, like the video or leave a comment if you think that we should also have more modesty in our society, in public, to do with the advertisements, to do with what's on TV, to do with what's on, social media that children have access to. you know, and no, I don't need the anti-censor, you know, community coming after me. I mean, at the end of the day, like, don't you think that modesty has been censored enough? Like, it's like, you know, the idea of modesty has been murdered, really. Like, you know, you're the black sheep if you're modest, or if you believe in modesty. But you know what? I also bet that communities that have modestly dressed women, you know, and again, I'm not talking about having to cover up your face and your head and every part of your body, but you know, just not having your puppies out and not having your flaps out, you know. Um, I bet, you know, where there is more modesty, I bet there's less problems. I bet there's less mental health problems, and I bet there is less relationship and family problems. And I bet there's research that backs that up, really. You know, all the countries where women are actually dressing more modestly, you know, and it's a self-respect thing for them too. It's not just a respect for their husbands thing. It's not because they're just being forced to and told to. You know, and yes, I am aware that in some countries, women are treated poorly. Okay, I'm aware of that. But I'm just saying that I bet where there is modesty, there is also less trouble, you know. And really, I mean, we could go down the rabbit hole of, you know, especially with the Old Testament, you know, kind of like, you know, different rules and expectations and things by God. And, you know, I would again just say that we're showing how disconnected we are. As a collective, I would say, you know, in the Western world, um, it just seems very blatant that we are more in touch with trickery and the dark side and dark things and temptation and all that sort of stuff than we are with purity and holiness. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you all have a great Monday. I apologize about this whole phone setup situation. Maybe we have to go back to the tape on the dash, because this seems to be wobbling a lot. And I did notice in the first video that I used this for, there was like some clicking sound. So I can't hear that when it's actually recording, but when I re-listened to it, I could. So, you know, leave a comment if you think that we should change back to how we had it. Otherwise, you know, I don't know, maybe we'll do some like that and some like this, some like that, some like this, you know. Maybe I have to find a whole different setup. Anyway, you all have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow morning in another video. Bye.